Hello everybody, welcome to another video, and in this one we are going to look at a subject that is never far from the mind on Gran Turismo Sport, and that is the penalty system. And as the title says, we are going to take a look at the penalty system pre-update 1.53, which was released 18th of December 2019, when the penalty system was changed quite significantly. And since then there has been 3 further updates to try and further rectify the penalty system to get it into a working condition. Unfortunately, those tries at changing the penalty system have been unsuccessful, and we have been left with something that can only be described as dysfunctional and not fit for purpose, I would say. So instances like this that we're going to take a look at quickly on screen, where cars are getting dished out penalties without really having any real idea as to why. Now, there is side-to-side contact here, but in a lot of the cases nothing really happened. It's just racing, there's a little bit of rubbing, but the car, or one of the cars, gets a penalty for no real reason. Nobody's race has really been affected, and it all seems a little bit unfair and, worst of all, random. There seems to be no rhyme or reason to it, from what I can gather, and it is certainly having an impact on the game and the enjoyment for a lot of people. However, one thing that is going unpunished in the game, so we're getting silly penalties for minor side collisions like that, but instances like we're about to see on the screen here go unpunished. So this is at Brands Hatch here. All these incidents taken from the one race quite recently, and the Porsche doesn't bother to brake into that corner, rear ends it Audi off the track and continues down the track without a penalty. Let's take a look at that from the Porsche's point of view. It looks deliberate, just appears to not brake. The Audi goes off, spins, ruins the Audi's race, and the Porsche carries on without a penalty. And literally 2 corners later, the same driver is going to take out both these drivers as well. Again, just appears to not bother braking out the corner, bumps P7 into P6. They both go off the track, and the culprit carries on without a penalty. So let's take a look at the change that came in update after 1.5. Oh, sorry, update 1.53. Fixed an issue wherein penalties occur due to a collision could be transferred to another player in sport mode and lobbies. Penalty times have also been adjusted accordingly. Now, the penalty system prior to this point was far from perfect, but it was quite functional, and in my opinion did catch the main problems with the game. Or like the big instances, deliberate punts off the track, 99% of the time got a penalty. And that's what you're looking for in a penalty system. It's never going to be perfect, but you do want it to catch the major stuff. Now let's take a look at the kind of incident that Polyphony Digital were trying to fix when they came out with this update. So this is a Group 4 FIA race at Monza, last lap, and a bunch of cars going into the second Lesmo pretty close together. Now we're on board with the Jaguar of the 7th place car, who has missed his braking point, hit the McLaren of Ghostly into the 2 cars in front of him, Happy Meal in the McLaren and Lost Shelty in a Lamborghini. The subsequent collision from them causes Lost Shelty to go off the track, and both the McLarens in front pick up a 5-second penalty. Despite being innocent victims, the incident has been caused by the Jaguar, and that penalty has been transferred over to the other players. So when they make the update in 1.53, that's what they were trying to get rid of. Now let's take a look at some good examples of the penalty system working as intended before that update. So Group 1 race at Spa. Driver goes for an overtake, gets it completely wrong, T-bones a car in front of him, sends him off the track and gets a 4-second penalty. Absolutely deserved. Now this one initially looks quite harsh. One car is squeezed into the wall by the other and picks up a 4-second penalty, but when we slow it down here, we're just going to go through it frame by frame. You can see P11 there, now P10, the white car has got a run on the driver that we're on board with, and there is a gap, but the driver just keeps moving over slightly to the right hand side hits the other car, bumps him into the wall, and a little bit later on the game deems that to be worthy of a penalty, and there's a little bit more bumping as go through Eau Rouge. But there we go, 4-second penalty for putting the other car into the wall. Again, another car goes for the overtake here, goes to move back on the racing line, does it too early, knocks the car off the track, gets a 2-second penalty. If we just look at this one from the point of view of the other driver, there we go. The car doing the overtake, misjudges going back on the racing line and ruins that driver's race. And this driver gets a 1.5 second wall collision penalty to add insult to injury. And that's definitely something that could be done with getting removed from the game, as wall collision penalties. But we are looking at collisions here. So here's a classic on the run down to one of the straights in Monza, the main straight. This was the opening lap on cold tyres. The Viper goes for the overtake on the Lamborghini, but cold tyres means it understeers into Curva Grande, hits the Lamborghini off the track and picks up a 3-second penalty. If you look at that from the Lamborghini's point of view, it leaves plenty of space, and it's just the Viper of the Belgian drifts into the other driver, and that's a deserved penalty. Harsh, there's nothing wrong, there's no malice from the Viper driver, but he has knocked another driver off the track and picks up what I would say is a deserved penalty. Now this one's quite harsh. Lamborghini just misses his braking point slightly and knocks the Corvette off the track and picks up a 5-second penalty for that one. Now I would say that the Lamborghini should have had plenty of opportunity to avoid the Corvette in that instance, but chose just to go into the back of him. So it's a 5-second penalty. It's harsh, but he has knocked another driver off the track. He has made the mistake. He's missed his braking point. I can see why the game gave it out. Now this one is disgusting. There has been needle between these two drivers previously in this race that I had seen, but the Toyota goes for the overtake on the Megane. He has 3 shots at putting him off the track and deservedly picks up a 3-second penalty, but it's not finished. He does a brake check and the Toyota sends the Renault off the track in that instant. And I did expect the game here to give the Toyota a penalty of some description, but no, the Toyota carries on penalty free. So a really good example of the penalty system getting everything right there. Now this one looks harsh initially. Aston Martin goes for the overtake on the Jaguar, just bumps him ever so slightly wide and picks up a 5-second penalty. But if we watch this one in slow motion from the perspective of the Jaguar, he leaves space. He knows the Aston Martin's going for the overtake, but there's just a little double move from the Aston Martin. Here we get it in slow motion. So at this point everything's fine, both cars are rotating nicely. The Aston Martin's actually moving away from the Jaguar here, but then for some reason starts to move back to the left. That causes a second little bump into the Jaguar, sends the Jaguar off the track, all 4 wheels over the white line and a wheel into the gravel. And as the Jaguar manages to save it, carries on, doesn't lose a whole lot of time, but the Aston Martin picks up a 5-second penalty. I think on reflection that was quite well deserved, that penalty. So maybe a little bit of a controversial one here, but I think the penalty system kind of gets it right in a game. I understand why it does it. So it goes for the overtake up the inside into a tight hairpin, gets squeezed by the driver in front, makes contact with the ball, and the driver that did squeeze it picks up a 2-second penalty. Could be a little bit harsh, that one, but you can see why the game gave that one. So this one, driver in front loses it, sort of re-enters the track into the path of the car, knocks him into the wall, picks up a 2-second penalty. Again, you might not quite agree with some of these ones, but you can understand why the game is giving them out. But this was the good thing about the sort of penalty system before update 1.53. You generally understood why the game gave a penalty, even if you didn't agree with it, even if you thought it was wrong. You sort of understood why you were getting the penalty. Now, we've all been the victim of this one at some point at Le Mans. Misses his braking point, hits the car in front off the track. Does the honourable thing by waiting up and letting the other driver recover, but he has knocked the car off the track and gets a 4-second penalty. So we've looked at the good of the penalty system pre-update 1.53, but of course it doesn't get everything right all the time. You can take a look at some examples and get it completely wrong. So in this one, the car in front loses it on the gravel, fishtails, and as he goes off the track, slightly touches the driver that we're on board with, and the game deems that driver to have bumped that car off the track and picks up a 5-second penalty. In this one, I'm not entirely sure why there's no penalty dished out here. The driver we're on board with loses it on the curb, hits the other car off the track, and carries on without picking up a penalty. I'd have thought that was a cast iron penalty. I was really surprised when the penalty didn't pop up for that one. There we go. This one here, driver comes from miles behind for an overtake, but just as he hits the car in front, he also hits the wall at the same time. Game deems the driver in front to have put the green car into the wall, gives him a 4-second penalty. Very harsh indeed. In this one here, we're fighting for 19th place. McSpongy. He's got a bit of a run, but as he comes into the corner, he completely cuts off and gives the car we're on board with absolutely no track whatsoever to play with. The car we're on board with actually tries to go off the track to avoid the collision, but they make contact, and the Brit is spewed off into the wall. There we go. Big contact. Ghosts as we go through them, and as they speed the footage up. Get a half-second penalty for cutting the corner and a 3-second penalty for the collision on top. So this one here, this is a 50-50 as into whether the game gets this one right or not. Car we're on board with gets a run round the 8th place, makes a small tap because he sort of understeers wide, hits the car into the barrier and picks up a penalty for it. So we've looked at the good and the bad of the penalty system pre-update 1.53. But one thing that also changed at that time was how easy it was to keep your SR at 99. Now, previous to update 1.53, you used to get SR downs for any contact you made with a car in a sector, regardless of whether it was your fault or not. The people didn't like that, and I understand why, but if you were a generally clean driver, or a courteous driver, then you picked up a lot more green SR ups than you did downs, and so your SR would largely remain unaffected. However, everyone can have a bad race, pick up a penalty for that, and if that was the case, you picked up a couple of 5-second penalties, your SR could drop 30 points quite easily. And that's what happened to me, where I've got the arrow, as we look at my SR profile, and I had real difficulty getting it back up to 99. It took me 5 days. I didn't do that many races each day, but I had to be really careful with each race and really concentrate and not making any contact, because I was looking at a DR reset if I had a penalty or a bad instant. And if you also look at my DR profile, it sort of corresponds with that section. Because I was having to be so careful, I actually lost 4,000 DR. So I think that was a good effect. I liked it when the SR was like that. It was much more effective in keeping the dirty drivers away from the clean drivers. At the moment, it's far too easy to keep your SR at 99. Drivers who would never have been at SR 99 are there at the moment, because it's just so easy to rack up clean races, even when you pick up penalties. You see very few red SR ratings at the end of races now, so I can't for the life of me think why PD just don't go back to the penalty system they had pre-update 1.53 and then just try and change tiny little things from there. So this is my plea to PD. Please go back to version 1. Or pre-update 1.53 penalty system. The game is much better for it. Your game is suffering at the moment due to this penalty system, and I think you need to go back there, and I think you'll have a lot more happy campers on your hands in the game, because when the penalty system was that, at least you understood why you were getting the penalty. You might not have agreed with it, it might have got it wrong sometimes, but it got the major stuff right. And because the SR was so hard to maintain, or much harder to maintain than what it is now, clean drivers were generally getting put in with other clean drivers and getting to avoid the madness of some of the less careful or considerate drivers out there. Anyway, I'm going to end the video there. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you like what I've done here, liked some of the examples that I've put out. If you do, hit that like button please, give the channel a subscribe. Once again, thank you very much, and I shall see you on the next one. Goodbye now.